Tonight on Ctv3 News, tragedy deepens in the north. The community mourns the loss of 3 lives in devastating fire as 17-year-old Shadia Magana passes at the KHMH. The man accused of drenching Angelita Magana and her 2 children with gasoline also passes at the KHMH. A call is made for an urgent collective action to address domestic violence. And the Ministry of Transport to introduce new laws when it comes to drunk driving and motorcycle helmets. These are some of the stories we have for you tonight in our newscast for Wednesday, October 22nd, 2025.
Looking for quality, tasty, and easy to prepare meals? Look no farther. M&M Frozen Foods, proudly distributed by United Distributors Limited, brings you a wide range of delicious frozen delights, perfect for every occasion, from frozen pizzas, quesadillas,
is a serious threat to livestock, pets, wildlife, and humans. It causes yield losses, damages the quality of meat and skins, and can even kill them if left untreated. Check your animals daily. If you see any wounds on them, treat them immediately. Prevention is key. Apply approved healing and fly repellents to the navel of newborn animals after dehorning, ear tagging, or any other practice that leaves wounds on your animals to ensure your animals' well-being. If you notice worms in unusual wounds, report them immediately. Call Baja at 824-4872 or text or WhatsApp 670-7003 or call your nearest Ministry of Agriculture office. And don't forget, never transport or receive animals with injuries. Together, we will prevent the spread of this dangerous disease. This message was brought to you by Baja, OIRSA, AICA, USDA, and the Ministry of Agriculture, Food Security, and Enterprise.
We are the Public Utilities Commission. Since 1999, we have regulated Belize's electricity, water, and telecommunication sectors, ensuring quality services at reasonable rates for consumers. A lot has changed since our establishment in 1999, and so have we. To reflect our evolution and future-focused vision, we are proud to introduce our new identity, where the blend of colors show our balanced and inclusive approach to regulation, where innovation, sustainability, and trust are all equally important. Orange represents the telecommunications sector and symbolizes innovation and connectivity. Green reflects the energy sector, sustainability, and national growth. Blue represents the water sector, highlighting trust, stability, and life-sustaining resources. White symbolizes transparency and accountability, core principles of the PUC. We are the Public Utilities Commission, transitioning to a new look, but our core values remain the same: accountability, excellence, integrity, innovation, and professionalism. Our logo is more than a design. It is our visual commitment to continue to serve the people of Belize with transparency, competence, and professionalism. We are the Public Utilities Commission.
Your government is taking back ownership of our hydro dams and power generation plants, and all shares held in BEL by the foreign-owned Fortis. Belizean assets in the hands of Belizeans. Fully Belizean-owned and managed, with all local employees. Our nation's premier source of clean power generation is now in our hands. Revenues made in Belize will now stay in Belize. Remember, energy security equals economic independence. Your government continues to put Belizeans first.
Good evening with your news also simulcast on the Fiesta FM 106.7. I am Joanna Rodriguez. What began as a nightmare in the early hours of Monday morning has now become a story of unimaginable loss for an entire community. The fire that claimed the lives of 34-year-old Angelita Angie Magana and their 6-year-old son Tishan Godoy has today taken another, that of 17-year-old Shadia Magana, who had been clinging to life at the Carl Husher Memorial Hospital. Shadia passed away this morning, 2 days after suffering third-degree burns to nearly her entire body. The teenager had fought valiantly, but the injuries she sustained were simply too severe. It was around 2 a.m. on Monday when, according to reports, Francisco Godoy, Angie's ex-common law, broke into the family's home in San Felipe village. Shadia, before losing consciousness, was able to tell authorities that he entered their bedroom, dosed them with an accelerant, and set them on fire. Angie and little Tishan were trapped inside the burning house and perished in the blaze. Shadia managed to escape with the help of a good Samaritan, but her burns were extensive. Today, as news of her passing spread, grief once again swept through the community and beyond. At Muffles Junior College, where Shadia was a first-year management student, the atmosphere was heavy with sorrow. The institution held a special memorial service this morning to honor her life, a young woman remembered for her kindness, energy, and ambition. Dean Adrian Leiva described Shadia as a vibrant, dedicated student with a promising future. He said her loss marks a painful first in the college's more than 30 years of existence.
Indeed, a very somber day at Muffles Junior College. I want to share that it's a very historic day as well. Quite coincidentally, today there was a historic meeting with the Mercy Organization International. There are plans for Muffles Junior College to be integrated into the Greater Mercy International scheme of things with schools. And today, in the 33 years of MJC's existence, we are burying a student for the first time. We have lost graduates over the years. Our count, if it's accurate, is we have lost 51 graduates over the 33 years of existence, but we have never buried a student. So it's unprecedented. It comes as a shocker, especially considering the manner in which he passed away. Exactly 1 week ago, in this very spot where we're having the memorial, we had a General Assembly. We had guest speakers to speak to us on nutrition. And the mistress of ceremony for that occasion was Shadia. Shadia was in her limelight here. Who could have thought that exactly 1 week later, at this very hour, we would be holding a memorial? The message to all of us, especially to our students who are young and who believe that death is something that we will face later on, not to think about, is that we need to change our mindset. God can take away, or not take away our lives, but take back our lives because it belongs to Him. The plan of God can never be questioned. And so the memorial this morning that just occurred is serving as a way of letting young people appreciate life more and to reflect that our plans are not always God's plans. At the moment that we started the memorial, it started drizzling and then it stopped. We want to see that as a symbol of hope for Shadia, that she's in better hands.
During the emotional ceremony, students and staff came together not only to remember Shadia but also to support her grieving family. A collection was held to help with medical and funeral expenses, a gesture of solidarity and love for a young woman whose life was cut short far too soon.
Shadia is from the village of San Felipe, and she attended high school at Belize High School of Agriculture. Shadia was vibrant. She was majoring in, she was pursuing her associate's degree in management with a concentration in information and communications technology. Academically, she was doing really well. We just distributed mid-semester reports, and Shadia was in the list of students passing. Shadia immersed herself immediately. She's a first-year student. She just started Muffles in August, and she was already very involved in her house. Like I said, she was the mistress of ceremony for the activity that her house, Gongora House, organized last week, Wednesday. She was in the volleyball team. She was already a visible individual in the school community. As dean, I do not have direct contact with the students because I don't teach them, so I walk around a lot in the 10-minute breaks, and I have to tell you that Shadia was already visible. And when I saw her photo that she was the victim, I have to tell you, it broke my heart. It broke my heart. This vibrant individual that I was just getting to know is gone.
But amid the tears, there is also anger and questions. Many, including Dean Leiva, are asking whether the system failed Angie, Shadia, and little Deshawn. Reports have surfaced that Angie had endured years of domestic abuse, raising concerns about what more could have been done to protect her and her children.
Shadia's passing also has revealed, especially to me, that there are many structures that work against the quality of life for people. It's very sad that the legal system was unable to protect her mom and the resulting victims, which was she and her little brother. I personally was in court for a civil matter yesterday, and I was saddened to see how the manner in which justice is dealt with is to the disservice of victims. I want to say that openly. Shadia's passing is giving me that opportunity to say that we need to do better. If we're talking justice, let us speak to justice the way it's defined. We are very saddened. As I said earlier, it's unprecedented. And we will be with the family tonight at the wake. We are planning on being there as a Mercy family, as a MJC family, to say our goodbyes to Shadia. And we will make certain that the memory of Shadia lives on at this institution.
Tonight, San Felipe mourns 3 lives lost, a mother, her son, and now a daughter whose bright future has been stolen by violence. A wake is expected tonight for the family in their home in San Felipe village, followed by funeral services on Thursday. Francisco Godoy, the man believed to be behind the fire that claimed the lives of 35-year-old Angie Magania, 6-year-old Tashawn, and 17-year-old Shadia, also passed away today. Godoy had been hospitalized under police guard at the KHMH since Monday after suffering severe injuries in the same blaze. Police say Godoy succumbed to his injuries early this morning while receiving treatment for extensive burns. According to reports, the early morning fire was deliberately set after Godoy allegedly broke into the family's home around 2 a.m. on Monday, dosed them with an accelerant, and ignited the blaze. Angie and her young son perished inside the house, while Shadia, who initially survived with critical burns, passed away. Godoy's death now brings the total number of lives lost in this horrifying incident to 4. The case has shaken the nation and reignited urgent calls for stronger protection mechanisms against domestic violence. As the investigation officially closes with the death of the accused, the focus now turns to reflection and to ensuring that the lives lost in San Felipe lead to lasting change in how Belize protects its most vulnerable. The heartbreaking tragedy in San Felipe village, which has now claimed the lives of 35-year-old Angelita Angie Magania, her 6-year-old Tashawn, and 17-year-old Shadia, continues to stir national outrage and reflection. Today, Minister of Health and Wellness Kevin Bernard expressed deep sorrow over the incident and called for urgent collective action to address domestic violence.
From my end, I speak personally. I am very, very um, saddened by what happened. But sometimes you beg the question, what went wrong? From what I understand, the lady that died tragically in this very, very distasteful incident had gone to the police, had made reports, tried to seek help, and just because she couldn't access the court. And I question, not because a judge is not there must be some mechanism in place that you can address and support this individual. And so there's much more that needs to be done when it comes to that. And it's a whole of society approach that I think has to, because it's not just about when a wife or a woman goes to a police station and make a complaint, and because they feel, oh, the husband and wife want to get back together today, tomorrow, or you don't take the matter serious. I think every complaint should be handled seriously, taken seriously, and has to be addressed. And I think we need to do much more.
Minister Bernard emphasized that domestic violence must never be dismissed as a private matter, urging both authorities and the public to take every report seriously.
I am going to say that openly. We must do much more, but not just the government, not just the police, every one of us. If we know of people suffering in silence, let us help. Let us reach out to the authorities. Let us ensure that these people get the necessary help. As I said, it's a very sad situation that occurred. I understand the young 16-year-old passed away as well, including the perpetrator. I will leave my comment about the perpetrator because I don't want to be, I have my own personal opinion about that. But it's sad to see a young family losing their life over such situation, whether it is jealousy, whether it is whatever may have caused that individual. But it leads us to also understand the ills that is affecting society and individuals. And
the minister described the deaths of the young family as heartbreaking, calling it a painful reminder of the social ills that continue to plague communities.
As I spoke to you just a while ago, alcohol, drugs, and we have to address these matters. And as a Ministry of Health now, that's where we are working closely through the NDAC, through the other programs to ensure that we could continue to push for legislations that will see the curbing of those abuses of whether it's drugs, whether it's alcohol, whether it's tobacco, that affect the lives and mental state of individuals. So we have to really see much more of support coming for women, for families as well, to try and prevent these type of incidents from happening. I saw a social media post last night of another situation where somebody shared that her life was also threatened. And so I shared that with the minister immediately, and I said, somebody need to reach out, and I understand that they have already reached out. So these are the type of proactive action that we need to see happening, because we cannot have these type of activities happening over and over. Look at the woman who was put in a dirt drum, murdered. What caused that, I don't know. But society, something is wrong, and we need to fix that. We need to turn that around. And I'm hoping that every stakeholder, every player in this country that has a part to play, do their part so that we could fix this and make sure that we live in a better society.
As the nation mourns, Bernard's message is clear. Protecting vulnerable individuals must become a shared responsibility before more lives are lost. The government of Belize and the Office of the Special Envoy for the Development of Families and Children have both issued strong statements condemning the horrific act of domestic violence in San Felipe village that claimed the lives of Angelita Angie Magania and her 2 children, Tishan and Shadian. In his release, the cabinet expressed deep sorrow and outrage over what is described as a heinous act of domestic violence, reaffirming its zero-tolerance policy towards such crimes. Cabinet extended condolences to the grieving family and underscored the urgent need for national action to prevent domestic violence in all its forms. The release adds, and we quote, "Domestic violence is not a private matter but a national concern that threatens the safety, dignity, and well-being of Belizean families," end quote. Cabinet also committed to strengthening the national framework for prevention, protection, and prosecution through the Ministries of Human Development, Home Affairs, and Health and Wellness. Meanwhile, the Office of the Special Envoy condemned what is called a systematic failure that led to the deaths of Angie and her children. The release stated that Angie did everything right by seeking police help, but the system meant to protect her failed her completely. This tragedy should never have happened, the statement said. When victims' pleas are not treated with urgency, the system itself becomes part of the problem. The Special Envoy's office also calls for immediate accountability from the police, courts, and all institutions tasked with protecting victims of abuse, stressing that domestic violence hotlines or response systems must be strengthened. Both the government and the Special Envoy are urging all Belizeans, including churches, civil society, and community leaders, to take a stand against domestic and gender-based violence and to ensure that no more families suffer such devastating loss. Coming up next, Transport Ministry proposes tougher laws for drunk driving offenses. Stay tuned.
Bolido has been a part of the fabric of Belizean society. It's part of Belizean culture. And now, under new management and ownership by the government of Belize, it is contributing significantly to national development.
Belize Government Lotteries Limited is proud to officially launch the Felipe Bolido app, now available for download from the Apple Play Store and Google Play. This launch is a revolutionary step in making Belize's favorite games more accessible than ever before. The innovative mobile platform will allow players to purchase Bolido, Ordinary Lottery, and Jackpot Lottery directly from their smartphones, giving players the freedom to play and win from anywhere in Belize. The Felipe Bolido app will provide a trusted and secure payment gateway that will make every transaction simple and reliable.
Shop smart for your Samsung devices in Belize and enjoy benefits you won't get anywhere else. When you shop locally for your Samsung, all your devices will be covered by a 1-year local warranty. You won't get that when shopping with the other guys. When in doubt, always look for the Cellular World seal to know you're getting the real deal. Shop with confidence and enjoy your Galaxy knowing that it can be repaired locally at our Samsung Service Center by certified Samsung technicians using original parts and machinery. Even better, enjoy the best LTE experience in Belize, knowing that your Samsung devices are compatible with major local carrier networks. Get the ultimate Samsung Galaxy experience only when you shop from authorized Samsung resellers nationwide.
Vacancy. 2 vacancies exist at Sugar City Medical Center. Nurse, full-time. Requirements: ability to manage patients pre- and post-surgery, at least 2 years of experience and bilingual. Pharmacist, full-time. Requirements: experience in a hospital ward setting, at least 1 year of experience and bilingual. If you are interested in joining our amazing team, send CV, recommendation letter, police record, and current license to sugarcitymedicalcenter@gmail.com. Deadline for applications October 31st, 2025.
In response to a rise in motorcycle-related fatalities, the Ministry of Transport is intensifying efforts to improve road safety and reduce accidents involving two-wheelers. Last year, the country recorded 55 deadly motorcycle crashes, and the trend appears to be worsening this year, prompting urgent action from authorities. To tackle this mounting problem, the ministry is rolling out a series of measures, including a 3-week specialized training program for transport officers. However, policy reforms are also underway. In an interview with the media, the ministry's CEO, Chester Williams, outlined several legislative proposals currently before Cabinet aimed at overhauling motorcycle regulations.
We have another paper on the table this morning before Cabinet, a very important one that is going to address motorcycles in general, starting from the process of obtaining a license for motorcycle to the laws that governs the use of motorcycles. Also be looking at training in order to obtain a motorcycle license certification from ITVET or any other reputable institution that may provide training in the maneuvering of motorcycles. And importantly, it is also going to address increase of fees for motorcycle violations. We have, for example, those motorcycles that overtakes on the right-hand side of the road. We're going to increase the penalty for that. Motorcycles that overtake when an oncoming vehicle is coming, increase the license for that, the fees for that. Riding motorcycles without helmet, increase the fees for that as well. And we will also be working with the Bureau of Standard to ascertain a type of helmet that is going to be certified. We will look to other jurisdictions to see what type of helmets they have there that are certified, and we may adapt something from some other jurisdiction. At this time, we're looking at the DOT helmets. Those are very durable, and they're certified in the US and some parts of the Caribbean.
Beyond legislation, enforcement is a major focus, especially concerning the sale of motorcycles. Currently, the law mandates that anyone involving in manufacturing or repairing vehicles must obtain a permit from the Department of Transport. Williams pointed out that many motorcycle dealers and mechanics are operating without the proper licensing, which hampers regulation and accountability.
We're seeing that only those persons who are engaged in the dealing of vehicles are applying for dealer's license. Motorcycle dealers and mechanics are not applying for that license. So those persons who are currently engaged in the sale of motorcycles are not complying with the law. So we are taking a paper to Cabinet, or we took a paper to Cabinet last week, which has been approved, and we're creating a separate regime of law for motorcycle dealership. And again, the reason for that is because we want to be able to hold those persons dealing in motorcycles accountable, because the law provides that if you're a dealer, you have to comply with certain rules. So monitoring the amount of motorcycles being sold is important. One would appreciate that far more motorcycles are sold than motor vehicles. So the amount of these motorcycles on our highways is significant. But there is nothing being done to make sure that there is regulation, that the sales are being regulated. So with what Cabinet approved last week, we are now in the process of drafting the law for that. And every motorcycle dealer will have to apply for a dealership license. And if it is that they have an agent that sells for them, like for example Universal, they are a major dealer. So they would have to apply for a dealer's license. And if they would have maybe a store that is an agent for them, then they would apply for an agency on behalf of that store that is an agent for them. So with that, we'll be able to have better control and better accountability. And most importantly, to make sure that the helmet regulation is complied with, because under the helmet regulation, it says that every person who sells or offers for sale a motorcycle must do so with a helmet. We're seeing that the stores are selling motorcycles and they're not selling the helmet with it. So that again is a violation of the law. So we're also seeking to increase the penalty for that, to make sure that in instances where the motorcycles are being sold, that they're sold with the helmet as prescribed by law.
We've submitted a proposal to Cabinet to establish a dedicated legal framework for motorcycle dealerships, he said. This will require all motorcycle dealers and their agents to apply for official licenses, enabling better oversight of sales and compliance with safety regulations, including the mandatory sale of helmets with each motorcycle. The ministry is also preparing informational campaigns to educate drivers about road rules, with particular emphasis on motorcycle safety and legal requirements. These initiatives aim to foster greater awareness and adherence to traffic laws, ultimately reducing the tragic toll on the nation's roads. As authorities step up their efforts, the hope is that a combination of stricter laws, better enforcement, and public education will make the roads safer for all users. And in a move aimed at enhancing road safety, Chester Williams, CEO of the Ministry of Transport, announced plans to overhaul current legislation related to impaired driving. The proposed changes would impose harsher penalties on individuals caught driving under the influence, particularly in cases resulting in fatalities. Williams emphasized that under the new proposals, drivers involved in fatal accidents while intoxicated would face charges of manslaughter, carrying potentially severe prison sentences. He shared details of the initiative, highlighting a commitment to stricter enforcement and greater accountability for reckless behavior behind the wheel.
I am currently working on a cabinet paper with the police to address that issue. It is going to be proposed to Cabinet to amend the Motor Vehicle and Road Traffic Regulation when it comes to the issue, or Motor Vehicle and Road Traffic Act when it comes to the issue of driving under the influence of alcohol. I can say to you that the first paper with that we submitted to Cabinet has been approved, where Cabinet has approved the amendment of the Motor Vehicle and Road Traffic Act to allow that the test result from breathalyzers be admissible in court as prima facie evidence. So there's going to be no need for us to take you to the hospital or ask you to urine. The receipt from the breathalyzer is going to be sufficient to prove to the court that you are under the influence. So that's very good for us. So now what we need to do is to present another cabinet paper where we'll be asking that any person who is convicted of driving a motor vehicle under the influence of alcohol, that carries a penalty of $1,500 or imprisonment for 1 year on the first offense. If there's a second offense, then you go to prison for 3 years. We'll also be proposing that if it is that you are charged with manslaughter by negligence, or you're charged in respect to an accident where someone died, and you are found to have been under the influence, that you're not charged for manslaughter by negligence, you're charged for manslaughter. And the penalty for that is going to be 5 years imprisonment, 5 to 10 years imprisonment. So you're going to carry a mandatory imprisonment sentence as opposed to what it currently stands. Where if you're charged for manslaughter by negligence, you're under the influence, you only get a fine of $5,000 and you go home. And with the new proposal, we're asking that you be disqualified from driving for life.
60 Belizeans pursuing studies in the field of health are now the proud recipients of higher education scholarships through a joint initiative between the Ministry of Health and Wellness, the Ministry of Education, the Inter-American Development Bank, and the University of Belize. The students who are enrolled in nursing, midwifery, and pharmacy programs today sign scholarship bonds that will allow them to complete their studies while committing to serve the government and people of Belize upon graduation. The scholarship, collectively valued at $1.1 million, represent a major investment in strengthening the country's health system by ensuring that trained professionals remain in Belize to deliver critical care services. Minister of Health and Wellness, Honorable Kevin Bernard, says the initiative reflects government's long-term vision to build and retain a skilled and motivated health workforce.
You know, this is a program that has been ongoing over the past few years, and it has grown. And really, you know, last year we did about 40 scholarships. This year we're doing 60. And I want to, of course, thank the Ministry of Education, who has supported with 15 of those bachelor programs in nursing scholarship. The ministry has, through its own resource, has been able to identify the additional 14 in bachelors and the 9 for practical nursing, and then the midwifery, the 20 in midwifery, along with IDB, who supported the 2 bachelors in pharmacy. For me, this is always about investing in our people, in making sure that we are able to train and build on the profession that we are lacking in Belize. Nursing is a necessity, and as you are very well aware, that we have been losing some of our nurses to the bigger countries. So this is an ongoing process that we have to invest in, try to get as much of our Belizeans to study in this profession, and that's what we're trying to achieve, so that we could train more for people, so that they get into this public health system, so they could provide a better service.
This latest scholarship program forms part of ongoing national efforts to address shortages in key areas of the health sector while creating sustainable opportunities for Belizean students to thrive in healthcare professionals. The Carl Husham Memorial Hospital, KHMH, is preparing to open applications for a new Chief Executive Officer following confirmation that current CEO Chandra Cancino will now be renewing her contract. Minister of Health and Wellness, Honorable Kevin Bernard, today confirmed that the hospital's board has already begun the process of finding a replacement. Minister Bernard emphasized that the process will move swiftly to ensure a smooth transition.
I understand that the board has met already, and they are working on the terms of reference that will be put out for advertising. I know I spoke to my CEO, who also sits on the board of KHMH. I don't engage with the board matters, as you know, that's not my priority, but my prerogative, sorry. But the board, I understand, already met. They are looking at the terms of reference that will be put out, hoping that we could get these advertisements out as quick as possible, so we could find a suitable person to replace Ms. Cancino, who has chosen to move on, and I want to wish her the very best in whatever endeavors she so choose to go into. I know she has other roles within the different organizations, but she has made a personal decision to move on, and I wish her the very best. But I can guarantee you that we will look at all possible candidates. We'll have to ensure that we have the right person that can lead the facility, that can help and work closely with our board as well, that as was being done, but to ensure that there is continuity and improvement and sustainability.
While there is no set timeline yet for what the vacancy will be officially advertised, Minister Bernard noted that the board is still finalizing the details before moving forward. The National Bank of Belize, NBBL, is warning customers to be on high alert after discovering fake Facebook pages pretending to represent the bank. In a statement on Tuesday, NBBL confirmed that the pages are completely unauthorized and have no link to the institution. The bank says the matter has already been reported to authorities and is actively working to have the fake pages removed. Customers are urged not to share personal or financial information with these pages and to double-check any messages that seem suspicious. NBBL reminds the public that all official updates only come from its verified platforms. Anyone who suspects they're interacted with a fake account is asked to contact the bank immediately at services@nbbl.bz or by calling 822-0957. And there is more news after the break. Stay tuned.
Every day, the demand on your business get higher. More productivity, better equipment, and reliable support to keep up with a fast-moving world. At Cellular World Business Solutions, we're ready to help you boost performance across every operation. Don't let outdated technology hold you back. With our certified and supported solutions, your business stays ahead. We supply office equipment, printers, inks, and toners, software licenses, IT system assembly as your Dell Platinum and Cisco partner, appliances, and custom orders tailored to your needs. From startups to large enterprises and renowned institutions, we serve every corner of the country because no industry can afford to fall behind on technology. Let's take your business to the next level. Contact us today at 610-2494. Cellular World Business Solutions, your reliable partner in business success.
The Ministry of Rural Transformation, Community Development, Labor and Local Government, MRTCDLLG, in partnership with the United Nations Development Program, UNDP, marked a major milestone with the signing of consent agreements for the villages of Otasho and Mabilha in the Toledo district under the Deepening Access via Rural Electrification DEAR project. This project is being funded by the India, Brazil, South Africa IBSA Fund with a total budget of $1 million and is being implemented by the UNDP in partnership with the Ministry of Rural Transformation, Community Development, Labor and Local Government, and the Ministry of Public Utilities, Energy and Logistics. The DEAR project aims to enhance access to reliable, affordable, and sustainable electricity to underserved communities. The project focuses on the installation of photovoltaic PV systems to power home, schools, and community buildings in the villages, thereby providing greater access to education, healthcare, and livelihood. During the brief ceremonies, the Honorable Florence Marine Jr. commended community leaders and residents for their commitment to advancing rural development. He highlighted that the DEAR project represents more than just access to electricity. It is about empowerment, opportunity, and transformation for rural communities across Belize. The ministry extends its appreciation to the IBSA Fund, UNDP, MPUEL, and all partners involved for their continued support in bringing light and opportunity to Belize's rural villages. The Statistical Institute of Belize, SIB, in partnership with the United Nations Development Program, UNDP, proudly hosted the 2025 Data User Conference, DUC, today at the Best Western Plus Belize Biltmore Plaza in Belize City. This flagship event is a key highlight of Statistics Week, which celebrates Caribbean Statistics Day on October 15th each year. Funded by the Korea International Cooperation Agency through UNDP Belize, the conference brought together over 50 participants from government ministries, academia, research institutions, the media, and civil society. The DUC aims to strengthen the use of data for governance, policy formulation, and climate resilience, supporting Belize's ongoing commitment to evidence-based decision-making. The conference featured a robust agenda, including the launch of 2 census thematic reports. Panel discussions focused on migration, trends, and policy response for Belize. Participants also had the opportunity to view the best communication products developed through the online climate advocacy training provided by the Partnership in Statistics for Development in the 21st Century. The conference concluded with reflections on how data management practices support science, policy, and practical decision-making through a presentation by the University of Belize's Environmental Research Institute. And that's the news. We invite you to join us for another newscast on Thursday, October 23rd, here on Ctv3 News and Fiesta FM 106.7. Remember that to read a text version of the news, you can visit our website at ctv3belizenews.com. You can also log on to our Facebook page for current stories at facebook.com/ctv3belizenews or our YouTube channel at Ctv3 News BZ. From all of us here at Ctv3, thank you for watching and listening. Good night.